Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on the Ironman Profile. In today's video, we're finally going to be building a farm for the one crop I didn't have a farm for, and I've honestly been putting this off for way too long ever since they disabled teleport pads, but we're finally going to be building a brand new mushroom farm. This thing's pretty insane, so we have a lot of work to do today, but if you guys are new here, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Super quickly though, if you do ever find yourself checking on the Hypixel store, whether it be for an ongoing fire sale, maybe you need some Skyblock gems for some booster cookies, or the seasonal bundles over at Taylor's shop. But if you do find yourself ever checking on the Hypixel store, don't forget to use my career code on checkout. It is code Zach, spelled just like my name, Z-A-C-H. If you type that in on checkout, you'll actually save 5% on your purchase. It's a great way to support myself and the channel, and I do greatly appreciate everyone who uses my code. You guys are amazing. But without further ado, let's get right to building the farm. We are starting today off by finally finishing my contributions for the artist's abode, and yeah, I'm a little bit late to finishing this by like a couple days, I gotta be honest, but we're finally getting it done, so better late than never. Let's go ahead and do the first contribution. The second one is basically nothing. The third one is a hot potato book I probably bought by accident from a dungeon chest I had in the chest. And then the fourth one, an enchanted ink sac and 16 enchanted lapis lazuli. So we'll go ahead and do that. And just like that, we should have gotten, thank you for help on the Artist's Abode project. Counselor, the project is now 34.9%. You earned 1,000 fame progress towards a memento from your contribution. And we should actually be able to go ahead and claim the contribution. And there it is, the Painter's Palette commemorates your participation in the Artist's Abode City project. We're edition 4,338, which honestly isn't that terrible considering how many days late I am with this. So I guess not a lot of people are doing this city project. I feel like not a lot of people know about this city project. We still don't know what is going to come from this, so I think that kind of happens too, and no one really knows what to get excited about, I'm going to be honest, but still, I will happily take another memento. I love getting those things, and maybe I'll organize these in order that they came out. This one was May 2023, so I think that was like the first memento we got. We got March 2024, December 2023, March 2024, these two... This participation in the winter 2023 event. Okay, you know what? I'll slap that there. This one here, this one there, and then we'll put our century cake at the bottom. Why not? There we go. A little bit more organization, and yeah, another memento add to the collection. So in today's video, we are going to be building a mushroom farm, and I used to have a good mushroom farm. It was actually really good, and that's how I've gotten most of the mushroom milestones that I've gotten so far. Currently, I'm visiting a buddy of mine. It's actually Bear. He has a bunch of really cool farm tutorials that are a little bit better at describing what you're building than what I'll be doing today. So I'm going to make sure I leave a link to that in the description down below, how to build this mushroom farm that is below me. And yeah, I used to have a really good mushroom farm, and I had to tear it up because it was a teleport pad farm. And since then, I've basically rebuilt and kind of redesigned every other crop I need in the game, except for mushroom. I haven't gone back for another mushroom farm because the mushroom cow, or the mushroom cow I should say rather, actually gives you a ton of mushroom while you're farming. And so I've been continuing to go up in mushroom collection and milestones. However, I'm hitting a point where I'm not producing enough mushrooms from it to actually do composter upgrades while also dealing with visitors. And I keep balancing around like right before being able to do some composter upgrades. And it's kind of holding me back a good bit. So it's time that we finally get a way that I can actually produce a large amount of mushrooms when I need it. It's not a farm I'm going to use a ton, mainly only when I need to do a composter upgrade. Because the mushroom cow will actually carry me all the way to max milestone for mushrooms. However, it's just about getting those big influx of mushrooms when I need it. And so today we're going to be building this farm. I've just been kind of standing here looking at it, trying to understand it, because I don't know if I want to go 5 plots long. And then also, the composter goes back and forth between needing red mushrooms and brown mushrooms. So we're going to have to build 2 farms today, basically. And yeah, this one was 5 plot long, looks super easy to build. Very simple farm design. Mushrooms like one of the easier crops usually. And like compared to like this, for example, when you look at this, like this just looks way more confusing than this thing, you know? Like this one I can look at and like understand. This one, like the pumpkin farms or the melons, for example, you got to watch like a tutorial for, otherwise you just won't understand it. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. I'm pretty excited. So I say we head back to the garden, find out where we're going to put this thing. I need to decide if I want to do it 5 plots long, or maybe I can just cram it into 2. I might try and cram it into 2 plots. We'll see. So now it's time to find a place to put the farm. And I'm going to be putting it across these 3 plots that I kind of have shoved at the back of my garden that I'm yet to clear. So, oh wait, there's only 2 plots. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is where I'm gonna put it. We're gonna have to do our best to cram this thing into 2 plots. It's gonna be a lot more building than it should be, but eventually I kind of want to be at a spot where I have every single crop in the 2 plot area. And I'm pretty sure I can make every crop infinite in a 2 plot area. So, yeah, I'm gonna start breaking some trees, some rocks, some bushes, and doing this very, very tedious part. So I'll be back in a bit. I won't bore you guys with this, but time to clear out some garden plots. Okay, after way too long, these 2 plots are now completely cleared out, and let me actually go ahead and place them down to bedrock. So this is plot 18 and 24. Do I have a... No. Don't tell me... Do I not have a bedrock option? There's no way. Did I get rid of my bedrock option? Okay, wait, let's see what this one is. I can't remember what preset this is. Do I not have a bedrock preset saved? Please tell me this is a bedrock preset. Please. Oh, I'm gonna be so sad if I have to dig these out by hand. Why don't I have a where's my bedrock preset? What is going on? So I didn't have a bedrock preset. This was like the closest thing I had to it, and so I just broke it in this one, saved it, and now pasted it over here. Now, please let me know when I deleted my bedrock preset and like yell at me. Like, why would I do that? Why did I do that? So yeah, that was fun. I had to dig this all the way back down, but it's been done once, and now it is currently pasting on this side. As you can see, it is clearing out, which means we finally get to build a farm. Who would have thought, right? It's like literally over an hour worth of work to clear out the plots, break down an old one, just to paste some bedrock, and now we can finally begin. So, the first big thing we need a lot of is mycelium, because mushrooms don't grow like other crops. They actually, they're kind of wonky. They're a little bit of a weird crop to try and build a farm for. Luckily, though, with recent updates and stuff, like if you guys saw like the original farms that took place on the garden when it first came out, it was ridiculous. That was when growth rate wasn't really affected by the garden and such. So, yeah, people had some very interesting mushroom designs, especially because mushrooms couldn't be placed too close together. So you had to have them in like these massive rows and like giant scaffolds people had built up, and you'd run back and forth down these giant scaffolds. So luckily, that's not the case today, and mushrooms can actually spawn next to each other, which is amazing. So I need to go get some mycelium, as well as a slab and building block of my choice, and then we can really get started. I'm excited for this. Okay, we have our, like, kind of scaffold up. It's basically 4, 8... Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4... Okay, wait, I wanted to make this 4 as well. I kind of did some resizing of everything, because I'm getting a little bit... Part of me thinks, my delusional self thinks I can cram a brown mushroom farm underneath of this one. Yeah, I don't know who's going to tell me that I can't, rather than the fact of me just building something and realizing it doesn't fit, but we're going to do our best to attempt at least. So, let's get rid of these 2 rows really quickly, like so. Scoop this up and this up. Oh, okay, there we go. Perfect. So we have 4, 8, 12 rows of 2 plots. Now, that is the equivalent of, like, I guess 1 less entire row than I probably should have for 5 plots long. But part of me thinks that this will be infinite enough. Just by looking at it, it kind of looked like it was going to be overly infinite. And so I'm kind of hoping that I can squeeze like a brown mushroom farm from that side that kind of squeezes underneath. That's the goal, at least. Now, whether it actually works like that, we're going to have to wait and see. But it's time to place down some mycelium. So I'm going to build 1 whole farm first. And if that works, then I'm going to build a brown mushroom farm in my free time, I think, is kind of where I'm at. So we'll see if that can kind of work. I don't know. I'm kind of figured this out on the fly. Okay, I went ahead and placed down the mycelium. I know that you can use podzol as well, but honestly, I just like the color purple over here. It looks pretty clean, and I always have 20,000 mycelium in my sack, so yes, next time I go to grind out some amalgamated crimsonite, it'll be a little bit more brutal, but it is what it is. So now we need to go ahead and place a block of our choice here, here, and here, if I'm not mistaken. Those are kind of going to be our barriers, in a sense, against where we're walking. And then also on these spots, or wait, yeah, on these spots as well, on these rows that have the stone brick, is going to be where our drop downs are, which is actually funny, because like you have like this whole row here, but the drop down's like behind it because you're facing that way, right? So like I would imagine you start the farm kind of up here facing this way, and you just go row by row. You drop down and you do that row, this one, this one, drop, bump, up, 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 up. Okay, so I think that makes sense. And so far it's shaping up. We're getting somewhere. Where we're getting, I'm not sure yet, but somewhere we're definitely getting. So I'm pretty sure now we're at the fun part before we start working on drop downs and all that tedious stuff, I guess you could say. I actually need to make sure I have something disabled, though. I need to disable this personal compactor because I need to put a bunch of mushrooms in my inventory, and I don't want to lose them. I don't want them to auto compact. So let's go ahead and grab out a bunch of red mushroom. We're literally going to fill our inventory, and basically now we're going to fly along this block here and just spam place these things like everywhere, I'm pretty sure. Just like so, and then gonna go back and do the same thing on this row. Gotta make sure I spam place them on the 5th block, just like this. And then after this, we're gonna start working on drop downs and stuff. And then if that all goes to plan, oh wait, actually I kind of need like the second farm built though before I paste and save. Okay, so after this, we might see if we can cram a brown mushroom farm underneath. Maybe I'm ambitious for that. Part of me thinks I can. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. But sometimes I do need brown mushrooms. So, wow, see, this grows so fast. Surely this is infinite. Surely. Look how much has already grown. We literally just sprinted down the rows to plant. See, okay. That is already very promising. That is promising. Because my biggest fear was it not being infinite because I trimmed some of what the farm should be. So we'll see if that's the case or not. But yeah, I'm gonna go and plant this, and then we can see if we can cram in the brown mushroom farm. I hope we can. I really do. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to commit another 2 plots to a brown mushroom farm. Okay, literally in the time I sprinted down each row, and this is only 1 plot long, a lot has regrown. So I'm feeling very confident that this will be infinite. Whether it is or not, we're gonna have to wait and find out. But so far, it's looking good. Not to mention, this will be 2 plots long, so it'll take even longer to go through and farm than just this 1 plot. So far, everything's kind of coming together. Okay, somehow it just fits. So we're gonna have the brown, or like we actually have a little bit of extra room, but this is gonna be the brown mushroom farm, and it kind of like laps underneath the red one. So it's kind of like staggered like that. This is actually gonna be sick. So we have all that in place. Now it is time for me to, I think we're done with soul sand if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna get rid of the rest so I don't misplace some down or something. And now we need a bunch of mycelium again. Let me actually grab out the stone brick, and we can kind of just place this at the bottom. And oh, I actually have another stack of soul sand to get rid of. But now I need to fill up my builder's ruler again with mycelium. See, we've actually used like a lot of mycelium, and we're still only filling it. I'm making this way more complicated on myself than it needs to be. Like, you can make this, like, if you guys check the link in the description for like how you should build this farm, this is only if you're trying to keep it into 2 plots, which is just like so unnecessary. So if you want to see a better way and way more efficient way to build this farm, like, this farm is so quick. Like, it would be the equivalent of building from here over to here, and then you just paste it in 5 times and you're done. So I'm making this overly complicated because I want to try and keep it in like a smaller area. But yeah, I highly recommend not doing this, but this is what I'm doing. So yeah, this is what it is. And I wonder if that's going to be an issue. I can't imagine it will be. It should be okay, right? So yeah, let me go ahead and place in all the mycelium for this other farm now. Need to make sure I don't run out so that I can actually place it everywhere. So far so good, but now we're out, so we need to grab a little bit more. See, the one problem is because I haven't built this farm before or farmed with it, I don't know if being able to jump in out of the row, I can't imagine that's going to be too important. It should be okay being underneath. I can't think of a world where you would need to. But it's just like those little things that you aren't really sure about, and I'm not confident on because obviously this is my first time building the farm and I'm yet to farm with the farm. So there's some unanswered questions that I'm going to be kind of answering the hard way, I guess you could say, by trial and error, and hopefully it doesn't take too much trial and hopefully little to no error. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But so far so good, and once we're done this, I actually need literally the slightest amount more of mycelium. Literally only need a stack. Oh, never mind. I need more than I thought. Okay. Also, I'm not sure if that row just planted all the way to the end. That is a little concerning. I'll have to go and check that in a second, but let's place this. There we go. All the mycelium is placed again, and looks like I did have enough in my builder's ruler to go all the way to the end. Where is this design from? Yeah, good question. Unfortunately, mostly my brain. I'm trying to like calculate this in my head, and it's coming across a little scuffed, but it should be fine. Then we're gonna go ahead and grab out our stacks of stone brick again. We're gonna put this back up at the top of our our builder's ruler rather, and this is gonna go right here like so. Then another one here, and the third one right there. And now I think we can go ahead and break all the TNT if I'm not mistaken. Don't need this anymore. Always really good for scaffolding. It's actually Bear uses it a lot. Same with like a lot of other farm designers, just because it's insta break, and as long as you don't light it on fire, you should be fine. But yeah, just break all this. There we go. So now, just like we did for the red mushrooms, we are going to run back and forth down the lanes and plant all the brown mushroom. And then once we're done this is when we're going to copy the plot and paste it over to this one here. And once we've done that, then we can start working on the drop downs and kind of figuring out, mapping out the farm in terms of how it's actually farmed, which is a pretty big question we have to figure out and answer here. But I'm gonna go and do this quick. This will take a minute or two. Honestly, so far this farm has been pretty minimal in terms of brain power. Like some of the other farms just look complicated. This one you can kind of like look at and understand. I've definitely overcomplicated it by lapping a farm on top of another farm. But I think it's going to be worth it, because I want to be able to get some brown mushrooms and red mushrooms when I want. And the reason why I have them separate is because the fungi cutter has an option where you can toggle between red mode and brown mode. And basically whichever mode you're on gives you extra mushrooms for that type and more fortune. So it's definitely worth keeping them separate. Some people were saying I should just kind of merge them all together, and whatever mode I'm on is the mushroom I'll just get more of, which, I mean, it's definitely an option. But I figured, you know what, if we're building a farm, we may as well like make it as efficient as I think I can make it in my head. And yeah, so whether this is an updated farm design or not, you guys, I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I just wasted a bunch of time, but I think this will definitely do the job. I don't need a crazy amount of mushroom. It's literally only for composter upgrades. I just can't get to the bulk amount that I need for these composter upgrades right now, because I literally don't have a mushroom farm. And so by not having a mushroom farm, my mushroom cow is having to do way too much of the heavy lifting, and the visitors keep on coming and taking all my mushrooms anyways. And I know I can deny them, I know I can, but I do my best to accept every single visitor possible, because getting to 10,000 visitors accepted on Ironman is going to take a while. We're actually getting pretty close to 4,000 though, which is kind of nice. And I hit 3,500 not too long ago, so this last 500 we've been kind of cruising through. I guess Minister Finnegan definitely helped with that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish playing these, and then we can go ahead and paste it over. And there we have it. We have all that planted, and now it is pasting this one. Now, is it taking all these mushrooms out of my sack? I think it is. It is. Okay, so hopefully this isn't too many, and I can actually afford to have this fully planted across. I should. And also if it gets to the brown mushrooms quickly, then I definitely will. But I'm gonna go and put the rest of the brown mushrooms in my sack. So far so good. There's the brown mushroom farm starting to paste in at the bottom. So everything looks good so far. I don't think I missed any steps on the brown mushroom farm before copying and pasting, luckily. I also made sure I didn't delete my bedrock plot, so I do have that whenever we need to build something else, and it lines up perfectly at the edge of our 3-plot cactus farm, which is also infinite. And the real test is going to be if this is infinite or not. But once this is fully pasted in, I'm going to go ahead and start working on some drop downs, which are a little bit more complicated, and will look a little bit different on my farm compared to It's Actually Bears in the video, because obviously mine is a lot more strips of mushroom across, but hopefully we can figure it out and get this built properly. Okay, now the part where my farm gets a little bit more complicated than It's Actually Bears and Melon Kings is the switchbacks are a little bit more complicated, because I have to do more on like each floor. And so I was like mapping it out how he was saying like, oh, on this side you just place a block here, there. And I was like, okay, perfect, I'll just do that 4 wide. That doesn't exactly work. So the switchbacks are definitely different. If you plan on trying to put the farm into 2 or 3 plots like I am, you're gonna have to end up doing some wonkiness like this. Now this isn't done. It's after I'm done mapping out the red mushroom farm, because I just mapped it all the way out for the brown mushroom farm. As you can see, all the lanes kind of running around. After you do that, you're gonna end up putting like signs here and water in between that flows, so it basically speeds up between you changing lanes, which is super nice, so you get back to farming a little bit faster. And now I need to kind of attempt to map out the same thing with the red mushroom farm. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then we can add the water and the signs to speed up so you going back and forth. But I've added all the drop downs. They're at the end of like each floor, as you can see here in these corners. And it should work out that way. And you want to leave like a block on each side once you figure out where the farm ends, so they can just spit you back out into the void. And obviously you're going to set your garden spawn. Like for example, if I was farming brown mushroom, I would set my garden spawn here. And by the time I'm done with the brown mushroom farm, I would be spat out into the void right down here. And I would teleport back up to the top once I fell into the void. So that's what we're working on. Let me go ahead and do the same for the red mushroom farm, but we're really close to being done today. Okay, after some fiddling around, we were able to get all the signs placed down, the water. In his video, he shows like a trap door at the end, like it would be like right here, like above. I don't really understand what that does. I'm leaving that out for the time being. I don't know if that makes sure you don't pop up onto the row above, but I'm going to have to kind of trial and error that myself and see how that works. But either way, as you can see, all of the kind of switchbacks, or like the big turns rather, have water and stone bricks instead of soul sand to speed you up, and should kind of launch you into the next row. And so you have water everywhere you need that. And then obviously we also have all of our drop downs wherever we need those on these sides. Right here we have a drop down. We have a drop down underneath right here, one up here, down here. Those are the 4 drop downs, and overall this should now be done. It should be done. It just comes down to farming it. So let me go and put all my tools and building equipment away, and we can actually go ahead and see if we can set our speed and figure out which direction we have to look at, and see if we can actually farm this thing and see if it works. Okay, so to farm this farm, what I've been told, make sure you have your rancher boots set to 233 speed. And for the water, make sure you also have depth strider 3 on your boots, which I do, which reduces how much you are slowed in the water by 100%. And then what you're going to want to do is whichever direction you're staring at your farm, you want to go 16 degrees to the left. So because I'm facing east, -90 is right ahead of me. So -106 is 16 degrees to the left. And that number to the right of that is your pitch. And you're going to want to be at 5.5 pitch is what I've been told. So now, if I'm not mistaken, I kind of just press A, and I have my brake key set to spacebar. And I go back and forth like this. And also make sure that you have your fungi cutter on whichever mode you want it to be on. Right now I'm on the red mode. As you can see, if I go ahead and look at my fungi cutter, red mushrooms is the mode it is on. And obviously if I'm farming brown mushrooms, I'm going to make sure it is on the brown mode. So there we go. Basically you hold A, and then if I'm not mistaken, when you drop down, you press S. And actually, let me grab that slug before I get too far. Oh, there's another one. Enchant mushroom block. Look at us. Already getting mushrooms. But yeah. So it's very delicate in terms of making sure that you're on the right axis and staring at that properly. I also just realized I didn't turn back on my personal compactors, which is always good fun. Let me go and do that really quickly. Enable, and we can slap that back in there. And I need to enable my other one as well, because I disabled this because I didn't want to auto compact all my mycelium. There we go, just like so. And now I should be set to kind of go back and forth. But yeah, that's the gist of the farm. If you want to come and check this thing out for yourself on how I hopefully made it infinite, I'm going to find out relatively soon. I'm probably going to sit here and farm. Okay, yeah, so you press. That's why the trapdoor's there. The water shoots you off the top. When you change rows, the water. Oh, it's A. Oh, wait, it's A and D. Okay, so the water does shoot you off. Which might be a little. I bet you I could put a sign though earlier to make sure that that doesn't happen. But that's why he has trapdoors placed like above your head when you rotate, when you change rows. So that is good to know that it does that. That's very strange. I'm not pressing like my jump key at all. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out. Okay, turns out those trapdoors are quite important because Soul Sand's like a weird level. The water kind of just props you up in the air, even if you aren't like pressing like your space keys. So now when you change lanes, this will definitely make sure that you don't, and will actually keep you down. And on some of the floors, I actually just have blocks overhead because I obviously stacked some of the farms. So it works out rather nicely, and don't need, like for example here, I don't need a trapdoor above your head because there is already blocks of soul sand. But everything should be good now. I've gone ahead and placed them all over across the farm, and now it is time to basically farm this thing and see if it's infinite. As you can see, all the trapdoors over here. So it should be all good. Let's go warp garden. We should have our spawn set properly, and now we just kind of sit and farm, and I'm gonna make my way through and we'll see if it's infinite. So I just made my way through the farm for the first time, and it looks like it's mostly grown back. It might be slightly less than infinite though, so small warning, if you're gonna build this farm for yourself, you might want to make it 5 across on each floor. That's kind of what I was considering, but it would have meant I wouldn't be able to kind of squeeze the brown mushroom farm in. So yeah, instead of doing 4 trays across, maybe do 5 if you're going to fit in 2 plots. If you have 4 across though and you put it in 3 plots, it should be overly infinite, which is super nice. But honestly, it's enough for me. I literally just need to farm it once in a while when I need to kind of build up my mushroom stash so I can actually take care of a composter upgrade or 2. So yeah, this will be enough for me. But if you want to build it for yourself, it's slightly less than infinite. It's almost infinite. I mean, this is how much has grown back on the first layer, and as you farm through, obviously it continues to grow. I would argue that basically is, but there's a few spots that haven't completely grown back. So I'd say it's like 95% infinite. So yeah, slightly less rates the second time through it, but honestly it's enough for me. And you can always swap between the colors too. So it's overly infinite if you go back and forth, but obviously that does require you to kind of fly out of the farm. But let's say you fall into the void and you spawn here at the red one, you can simply just fly right on over, right click your fungi cutter, and hop down to this farm and continue. So I would argue that it is honestly more than enough. And yeah, that's our mushroom farm. Pretty happy with what we got today. But if you guys did enjoy today's video, unfortunately this is going to be the end. If you guys want to build the mushroom farm for yourself, make sure you check the video in the description down below, or you can visit my garden and take a look for yourself. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end though. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Use code Zach when checking out on the Hypixel store. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.